Okay, yes. So just out of curiosity, could anybody tell me what they think is the difference between television acting and theater acting? Anybody?
Well, television, you are like in one spot, and with theater, you have to use the stage, and all of you, for want of a better word, all of you visible on stage. With it's camera, sorry. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cameras, you said before, you're in one spot and you focus more on the camera. And I think the camera is one that's working for you than you having to, yeah.
All right, I didn't get some of it there because your bandwidth a little low, Nicole. But what I got from you, just let me know again. If so you can repeat that again, please. Probably try with your video off so it'll take up less bandwidth. And Nicole, we seem to be lost, Nicole. All right. So here's what. You hearing me, Nicole?
Yes, I'm hearing now.
Okay, yes. Could you repeat what you said?
Well, as far as I remember, what you were explaining is that with camera, you're basically mobilized. You're not occupying any stage space like how you did for stage. With stage, you have to work the stage, and all of you, your whole body is being seen. With camera, it's not like that, basically.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Fair enough answer. Kelly, you want to give a try? No, you don't? Okay. I'm not hearing you. All right. Okay. So let me share my screen. All right. And we will see how much of Nicole's answers is what it's supposed to be. All right. Most importantly, television and movie acting deals with images, and images are very, very important, right? And I want to explain to you how important images are, right? So I wanna let me just put this to right. Good. So, and God said, this is Genesis 1:26, and God said, let us make man in our own image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. Now, that's to tell you how important God regards images, that he would take the time to make us in his own image. But somewhere along the line, right, it seems that our image of who we are has been skewed. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. And you'll see now what I mean by how powerful images are. We have a lot of women right now doing a lot of body surgeries, right? Because of the images that are placed before them, right? To state that they are beautiful, to state what beauty is. So women are getting their body parts done to look like this image. And it's a bombardment of images that is creating that now dissatisfaction with who they are. But you have to remember that if you are created in God's likeness and image, then what you really see, that God made a mistake the way that he made you. You understand what I'm saying? But because those images are all over the place, right? Every time you see an Instagram model, she looks a particular way, right? Those images now are starting to make a dissatisfaction within you. And it's happening with men as well, right? where, you know, I mean, men are so dissatisfied with their bodies now, especially the younger ones, that a lot of them going on diet pills and all that kind of stuff to try and lose weight because they think that they're supposed to look like this particular image. So I want you to understand how powerful images are, right? Okay, so what do you see? Jonique, so nice of you to be here with us today. What do you see in that picture there? Okay, I don't hear any, Jonique.
A female, her face is turned to the back, almost like she's to the side of somebody.
Very good. Gwen, what do you see in this picture here? Gwen, you're on mute.
I see 2 trees almost leaning against each other.
Very good. Beverly, what do you see in this picture here? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, sorry. I see backside profile of a lady.
Okay. Bernice, what do you see?
I see 2 trees leaning against each other.
Okay, great. Cheryl, what do you see?
I see the back of a lady.
Joshua, what do you see?
Profile.
Okay. Joshua, what do you see?
I see the profile at the back of the lady, but I'm also seeing fire as well too. It looks like fire to me.
Right. Very good, Joshua. Quinlan, what do you see?
I'm seeing the back of a lady, but I'm also seeing, you know, like you draw the fire sticks.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Is everybody seen my mouse there?
Mouse?
Yeah, you see? Okay, good. Are you
Oh,
seeing?
yeah.
There's a hidden image right to where I'm circling there. Can you see that?
Okay, yeah.
Are you seeing this?
Yes, I'm seeing it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, Stephen.
Nicely. And so this is what I want to show you. There are always images that are subliminal. And Hollywood makes great use of this. So when we're watching something on television, unconsciously, there are things that we are digesting that we are not always aware of. You understand what I'm saying? So there are certain things that you would now accept as truths, right? Because you're seeing it over and over and over again, right? And that is the power of an image, right? That is the power of an image. So you have to be very, very careful with the images that you look at, and more importantly, the images that you portray. Okay? So I want to show you something again. He who controls the images you see controls your mind. Think about what you desire, yeah, to look a particular way because of the images you see. All right? When we look at thousands and thousands of images of women with a perfectly wrong bottom, then we start to tell ourselves, well, we have to get that too because that's the image I see, right? That is not how God designed it, but because everybody is having it and I'm seeing it all over, then that is what I would want to desire. So now it brings a dissatisfaction in a lot of young women now who are insecure and say, probably that is why nobody likes me, because I don't look like that. So when you see how powerful our image can be, you get hungry for a certain food because you see that 1,000 times on billboards. Even if somebody is a vegan and they pass a KFC enough, they say, "Ooh, that chicken look nice, man." That's powerful. That's the power of an image on your mind. And that image is everywhere, right? What we consider to be successful, when we watch on television and we see somebody driving 10 cars, and or for the fellas, we see a man with a lot of women around him, or this woman that are, you know, overly voluptuous. And we say, yeah, boy, that is the life. So what happens is that we become dissatisfied with the things that make us happy, not really understanding that even if you get those things, everybody is created with a certain desire. Somebody on this platform right now may like Chinese food. The other might like Italian. We are all different. And success for us looks different because we have different desires. One woman might be glad to have plenty children in her house. Another woman will be glad to have none. And so you need to understand that because God created us in his own image, all of us, everybody here, there are probably about what, 20 of us on this Zoom right now, right? All of us have different fingerprints. There are no two people with the same fingerprints, even if they are twins. But every image you see influences your choice. So if you watch what you watch, then you watch what you become. And that's really important. That's really important because even the standards of beauty, right, have been determined by other persons. So what we consider to be beautiful, right? Now, I think all women are beautiful, but Caucasian women in particular tend to have very bad skin, but you don't ever see that on the screen. You never see that on the screen, unless that screen is on HD. Then you get to see sometimes how many imperfections they have in their skin. But as far as you watching on television for a long time, they had perfect skin. But you don't see the screens and mirrors. So you know, thinking that, okay, that is the image of what beauty is, and that is what I have to look like. And so it affects our choices, the hairstyles that we use. Everything, basically, our mind is controlled by the images that we see. So it's very, very important that you watch what you watch, meaning you guard your mind by the images that you see, all right? All right. And I found this to be very, very powerful because depending on what side of the mirror you're looking at, it really shows the real you when you go out in the community, when you go out in life. Many of us here are lions walking around like pussycats because we've accepted the image of what other persons would have told us. So we no longer walking in our gifts. There are many gifted people on this Zoom right now. I've said it over and over again. But if I was to ask, what are you doing with your gifts? Many of us lions are living like pussycats.
We're hiding it.
You understand? So the thing about it is that we need to be on the right side of the mirror. Because if God created us in his own image and likeness, then God is in us. And therefore, we should act accordingly. You ever met anybody who knows your parents, especially if you have parents who are very, very reputable, and they treat you a certain way because they know who your parents are? You so-and-so daughter, oh gosh, well, nah, your money ain't good here. So if God is our Father, right, and we are made in his image and likeness, why do we operate as though we are nobody. We have to be very, very careful with the images that we look at. The way that we look at ourselves. It's very important to stand on the right side of that mirror. I ask you all to get your mirrors, to have a mirror today, right? And I'd ask if you have that mirror, just take it out now, please. All right. If you don't have a mirror and you have something reflective, right, you could use that. Something that you could see yourself in. That's fine. And I want everybody put on their video, please. You don't have to put on your mic, so put on your video. Just for this part especially. All right? And I want you to look into that mirror. I see somebody driving Leo like where you're walking somewhere. All right. Wherever it is, just have it nicely. And I want you to look into that mirror. All right, look into it for 5 seconds. And I want you to repeat after me. You don't have to say it loud, but I want you to repeat after me. I am a beautiful person, inside and out. And I am capable of many great things. I will consciously and persistently set out to tap into and use my God-given talent to fulfill that great purpose I was created for. And I want you to repeat it again. I am a beautiful person, inside and outside. And I am capable of many great things. I will consciously and persistently set out to tap into and use. I will consciously and persistently set out to tap into and use my God-given talent to fulfill that great purpose I was created for. Guys, I want you all to really believe that because it's the truth. And the reason one person generally becomes quote unquote a star from another is not so much talent. You reach a point in anything that you're doing where everybody is talented. Talent is a dime a dozen, right? There are many more talented actors and directors than I am, right? But I am very challenged to find those that are persistent as I am. I have failed more times than I could count. I have fallen flat on my face. I have seen certain projects come to naught. I have gone bust many and many a time. But I understand who I am. And that makes a difference. And living in a place in Trinidad where the arts isn't taken seriously, I should have packed up and gone a long time ago. But I am here. This is probably, I've been here now, this is my 11th year doing what I do, doing what I love. And it's not because I am particularly gifted. But I believe who God says I am. And I follow that with persistence. And I'm saying to you, if this is what you want to do, it's not going to be easy. But you can't let anybody give an image of yourself that is different to what God gives. Because from the time you do that, from the time you're always worried about what people think, and the time that you're always worried about, what people will say, you will never become what you were created for. And if you don't take anything from this class, take that. Because I live by it. And if you could do that exercise every morning, first thing in the morning, look at yourself. There's some people afraid to look at themselves. But understand in whose image you were created. And when you do that, then the world is your playing ground. Because you know who you are. You know whose you are. So if it is anything that you take from this class, please take that lesson. It's the one lesson that has served me in life and has gotten me to where I am today. And I continue to press. I continue to move. I continue to fall and I continue to get back up. All right. So let's go. Acting 101. Today's class, we will understand how to work with the camera. And working with the camera is very, very important in television and movie acting, right? As I said before, there's a difference in television acting and there's to theater acting, and we're going to discuss some of that. If there's any questions in the chat, I'm not sure if Daniela is here today, but if not, Cheryl, can you call? Could you just see what anybody is saying, because I don't want to leave this PowerPoint if anybody has a question, right? Understanding your role in different shots. So as actors of television and movie actors, you need to know the shot that you will do it, because it requires a different type of acting. Well, that is one of the major differences between theater and television, because on theater, we're on a stage. We're on one position, we're doing something for an audience. We're doing something in relation to another actor. So we move a particular way, but that's not the way in television and movies. We need to know what shots we are acting for, and understanding the difference between theater, acting, and acting on film, right? So those are the three things that we're going to try to do today. All right. First to begin, I know many persons, right? They will come and they will talk to you on the phone for 24 hours, right? You and I will be doing a video conference call now, and it's not a problem. You know, you'll be watching on the screen or whatever it is. But the minute a professional camera comes in front of you, right, you start to get scared. You're shy, you start to move, you don't know, you start to think. The camera is your best friend. You see the camera, you have to treat him or her as your best friend, right? And Jonique does always pull me up because I like to only say he, right? So I'm saying he or she is there to make you look good. That's what the camera there for you to look good. So you ought to understand that this is not something that against you. This is not something to be afraid of. This is something that you're supposed to be comfortable with, because that is your best friend. Never be afraid, never be anxious, never be nervous in front of a camera, because the camera here to help you to tell a better story, right? It is not there to say, oh, good, I might look bad on camera, but you can't look bad on camera. You can't look bad on camera. But the camera is here to help you tell a story. And people have so many insecurities when it comes to camera. Oh gosh, I'm looking this way, I'm looking that way. Oh gosh, no. The camera is just there to help you tell your story. And therefore, that fear that you have of it, you need to let that go today. When you in front of that camera and they say action, that is your time to shine, right? So that fear that you would have of it, leave it. They know all your secrets, and they are there to let you know everything is going to be all right. right? Because really and truly, the camera is you. It's just you showing yourself. You wasn't afraid to watch in the mirror just now. So just reflect that light. It's you. What you need to do is relax and enjoy the moment. When you're in front of a, say that again?
Somebody has a question. Kelly wants to know, how do you just leave it?
Okay. Remember, the camera is nothing, right? Are you afraid of your shoe? Think of it like any other inanimate object that you don't really think of it as a cardboard box. You're not afraid of a cardboard box. Or a piece of sponge. You're not afraid of a sponge. Or a glass. You're never afraid to use a glass. So what it has happened is that you have ascribed a particular quality or value to it. When you go to drink from a glass, let's say for instance, you at a bar, right? And you order a drink. When you order that drink, do you stop and say, hey, see this glass? This glass might make me look good, you know. It might make me full. It might make me wherever I know you're concerned about the drink. The glass is an inanimate object, right? So stop thinking of the camera as something that is to be afraid of. You created that in your mind. A camera could be just like a shoebox. If you stand in front of a shoebox, would it make a difference? Right? No, the shoebox doesn't do anything. Neither does the camera. The camera is not alive. So don't ascribe a particular quality or characteristic to the camera. Think of it as inanimate as a shoebox or a piece of wood. That fear that you tend to have for the camera is something that you have created in your mind. Because here's what, even if you're in front of a camera, you can't see the image that is coming off. So if you're in front of a tree and it does nothing, why are you afraid of a camera? It's because you prescribe something to it. You say that this camera will make me, or will make me look out particular, or it will make me sound. Don't put a value to it. Don't put an emotion to it. Don't associate it with anything. So what you do is replace it with an inanimate object that you have very little concern about. Think of it like if it's a glass or a chair or anything like that. And try it. It's nothing, it's you. Yes?
Even I understand what you're saying, but I have that issue, I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be practicing something and I'll do it over and I'm good. And the moment I turn on the camera, I just start making mistakes. I just start getting nervous because I'm not even thinking about the camera. I'm thinking about the person that's gonna see me when they look at it. So
right.
Yes, you're saying look at the camera, but I'm not seeing the camera. I'm seeing beyond the camera.
Right, and you can't have beef and milk from the same cow. So if you're coming on camera as a character, right, and that character is here now, why are you leaving space for the actor's insecurity? You can't do that. And you'll never get your best work anytime you start jumping from actor to character in any sport. It doesn't matter whether you're doing theater or you're doing television, where is the actor who's insecure. The character comes there to do a job, and when I say do a job, they come to live in that particular moment. So anytime you start removing the character from the moment and you put the actor in there, it's the actor that has all those insecurities. You can't have milk and beef from the same cow. You can't do that. And from the time you start doing that, right, you're going to have those issues. Yeah? So what you need to do is relax and enjoy the moment. This is the character's moment. We're not coming to see Bernice. When I see you on film, I'm not coming to see you in real life. I'm coming to see that character that you're playing. And so you have to leave room now for that character to be. And the more that you do that, is the better and the better you will get at it. So that's what I mean by leave it. That's what you have to do to leave it. You can't have them both, you can't have it both ways. Right?
All right, Stephen Joshua has a question.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Joshua.
I see, then good night, you hearing me, right?
Yes, I hear you. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you know how you would do a play, and
Right.
in the play, let's say you forget your lines, but you know, they always say the audience don't know the play that you're doing. So if
Right.
you could improvise. So
Right.
is it the same for television and movies, or is it that you have to stick to that script
Well,
in itself?
you should, but if it is you're flowing, right? And the character is flowing and something sounds natural to the character, right? And you say it, right? You'll be surprised. The director say, hey, I like that. So let's keep that. So if he says, I don't like it, then you do it over. You understand what I mean? So you have takes when you're doing television acting. So here's what I'm going to do, right? Just reserve the questions, and I'll do that in the question segment, because it's a lot of slides and I want to push on through, right? So we will but I hope that answer your question. And if it doesn't, you could ask me more when we come to the question section, right? All right, so what are you looking at? When you're acting for television, you're acting with a camera. So when you see two people standing, and this is going to spoil every single movie that you have ever seen now, because now you can't unlearn it and you can't unwatch it, right? When you're acting on television, you are acting with a camera. So when you see two people standing, talking opposite each other, even the most romantic of scenes, they are not really facing each other. Think of it, right? If it is, I was looking at you, right? Then the camera will be at the back of my head, and the camera will be at the back of the other person's head. So we never actually watching each other. So you have to learn to become more and more intimate with that camera, because that's who you're really acting with. When you have two conversations with two persons and you're taking it from what we call an over-the-shoulder shot, right? Over the person's shoulder, right? That person is not looking directly to you. And so, again, that's a big difference than in theater. So you have to be very comfortable with the camera, because that is really who you're acting with in most times, most of the scenes, right? Unless they take something like an aerial shot, right? And you would be working with that person directly, but they're taking the shot from on top of the both of you, right? And those types of shots are not very intimate shots. So most of your intimate moments will really be with the camera, right? So we're gonna look, right, now, this is a video here that I will leave when you go through and you download the PowerPoint, you'll see it, right? It's a video with Rocky talking to his son. But I want you all, when you all watch the video, to watch at where they're standing, right? And then figure out where the camera is. And it's a very, very intimate scene, and it's a very powerful scene, but the cameras they're not facing each other, right? So as I say, this is going to spoil every movie for you, because from now on, all they'll be thinking, see her, she's not really thinking about that other person or talking to that other person, right? They're actually talking to the camera, because you'll now be able to see it, right? They aren't really face-to-face, romance, comedy, you name it. It's not the other person they're acting with. So plenty times when you talk about two actors have really good chemistry, it's really good chemistry with the camera and not really the person, right? The person is really speaking to an inanimate camera, right? How could we been fooled for so long? You watching movies and it's like, hey, I now realize that. But the thing is, if you do your job right, you will be one of those persons fooling many others in time to come. So when you learn the art of television acting and learn the art of creating realistic characters, right, and intimate, situations with that camera, people will not be able to tell because they'll be so drawn into the story. And that's why it is. You're so drawn into that story that you don't look at the logistics of anything because the story is so powerful. So, oh, sorry. Right, shots. In television acting, it's very important to know the shot you're acting for. This is very, very, very important, right? Because it determines the type of acting that you will be doing. It is not that we're going to do this one scene and we're going to act the same to do this one scene. We could be doing one part, right? But we take in different shots. And because we take in different shots, we are going to have to act differently according to the shots that we are taking. This is the biggest thing about television and movies. It's very technical. So you need to understand how to act according to the shot that is being taken. All right? Extreme long shots, right? So this is a type of shot that we use, right? And this shot, if you notice, is a very wide, is a very long shot, right? You see everything from very far away. The actor does not even have to be in the scene because at this point, because the audience can't see anything but the large structures, right? So the actor doesn't even have to be in the scene for this type of shot, right? This type of shot, you have just like an establishing shot, but you could only have these big, you'd only see these big structures, right? Now, in the shot I showed you before, if you look very, very closely, you could see two men fighting off the building in this particular picture, right? And if you could, right, if you look on the third building there, you'll see two men fighting, right? You have to be one of those very few people that could be able to see that, right? Anybody saw it? Anybody? All right, if anybody saw it, you could just, raise your hand. Anybody saw it? No? Nobody saw it? Nobody? Yeah, I'm gonna show it again. Anybody want to see it again? All right, look closely, right?
Yes, sir, show it again.
You see that? You seen it there? You seen that? Anybody seen it? All right. If you could see that, right, then I need you to stop lying. Because I have nothing there. You can't see anything in that kind of shot. In an extreme long shot, there's absolutely nothing the naked eye can see, right? So you can't see anything there. There's no reason for an actor to be there on that day when we taking those kind of shots. Everybody understand? Right? So if you are that, you need to stop lying because there's nothing there to be seen. This is a long shot, right? Notice you can see some sort of subject, right? In a long shot. So the actor is required to be there, right? The long shot, you can see the subject, but it's more a shot to show, right, the subject in a particular environment. So what basically we're going to be showing where the story taking place, right? You may see a bit of what the subject is doing, but what you're really seeing is the environment, because there you can't really see the character face, you can't see the expressions, you can't see anything like that. The most you might be able to see is if they're running or they're jogging, but sometimes it will be so far off, right? You can't really see, right? So that's a long shot. You as the actor just required to be in the shot and just do the motions of what's happening, right? So there might be you rowing a boat or whatever the case might be, and we taking a wide shot, a long shot, right, of the river, right? This is a wide shot, which is different from the long shot, right? Now, is a wide or open shot. It shows some sort of characters in a particular environment, right? You see the subject and its surroundings. So you now have an idea of what the subject is, because before, in this particular shot here, right, you can't tell if there's a man, if it's a woman, whether it is a horse, or you can't see, right, in the long shot. But in the wide shot, you can definitely see what it is there now. You can see that it's two men across the street, right? And therefore, what these men do now becomes very important, because let's say, for instance, this is a shootout, right? And one man draws the gun on the other. We are able to see that now. So the wide shot, right? Basically, you see the subject and its surroundings. So you now have an idea of what the subject is, what they are doing, and what immediately surrounds them. So the two men, you see two men there, right? And they talking or whatever the case might be. You can establish, okay, they are on a highway and there's two people talking, all right? Many times this shot is used to show what they are doing. So let's say, for instance, we want to show two people just rob a bank and they're running out of the bank. We might use a wide shot, right? So you can't really pick up expressions of the person's face or whatever thing from this type of shot, right? But you will see the actions of what is happening, right? But from this type of shot, right, mostly actions, it's the closest to theater and film acting would have in common, right? Because it's more, again, it's almost like you're looking at it from a very far position on stage, right? So this is the closest that you will ever have for theater and television acting to be in a particular, similarity, right? Because you are establishing the environment, which is a fixed stage, right? And you would have your blocking, so you can't go, or you can't move from beyond here, because then you'll go off frame, right? But we can establish that, so it's like they're on a stage right now, right? On this particular stage, and whatever they are doing, we can now see the actions of these two people, right? This is the full shot, right? And this is one of my favorite movies, so I couldn't resist. So, in the full shot, we see the actor's entire body, you see? You're seeing him from head to toe, right? This gives presence, intent, and reveal. You will still see, because they're the type of shot, you will still see the immediate surroundings, right? But you can't really tell whether he in a field, where he is exactly, right? You're seeing some trees in the background, but this here is really, the focus is on the character, yeah? This gives presence, intent, and reveal, right? Notice in the still, the actor's stance. You can tell something is about to go down. So you know, all right, yeah, some action going and happen here. So we see that full shot, right? This is where you would bring out the hero, or you bring out the villain, or whatever the case might be. You'd use a full shot to show the entirety of the character, yeah? This is a medium shot, right? And with a medium shot, right, you generally see half the person, right? Now there are such things as 3/4 shots, but then, it's really a medium shot. It's just a more profile that they're showing, but it's called a medium shot. You can see the expression, the emotions, and what they are doing. It's also a shot used to tell how characters relate to one another. So you can see the expressions on her face there. You can see the expression on his, right? You can see how he feels about her, right? Using a medium shot. If we had used a full shot here, we would not have been able to really see the expressions, right? And more importantly, if we had used another shot, we would not have been able to see the relationship. Good? So these types of shots, right? There's a particular way. Now, the actor in this case will have to be very intent on the actress, right? It's very, very important for us to establish how he feels about her. Yeah? All right. In a medium shot, you generally see half the person, right? You can see the expression, the emotions, and what they're doing, right? As I said before, right? I read this already, right? But it's very, very important when we're doing how we relate to each other, right? How we act on a medium shot, right? This is a medium close-up, right? Now, in this particular shot, you're going to really show the character's intensity, right? But it brings you very intimate with the character. Now, I chose this particular shot because it doesn't have any facial expressions, right? It's Black Panther with the mask on. But we are intimately introduced to him here because we could tell that he's strong. He's determined. This image projects a certain amount of, like, it's almost like we get to know him in this kind of shot, right? This shot is from the chest or shoulders. It draws us to get to know the character intimately. We see the character's strengths and weaknesses. If his shoulders were slouched, we'd have been able to see that, right? What they are dealing with, what they desire, what they are destined to, right? It's a very much more intimate shot, but the actor is allowed to basically establish the character with this type of shot, right? This is a close-up, all right? And in this particular close-up, it's the close-up of a face, right? Now, here's the thing. When you're working with close-ups, you notice how his eyes are. Understand that these graphics that are around him, right? It's not there when he's filming. These graphics are added afterwards. So he has to now pretend that he is seeing these things. In his mind, he looks at these different things. Look at how his eyes are open. Look at the expression on his face, right? When you're doing close-up, what we get to see is the actor's face, right? When we're doing a close-up of the face, and I'm talking about close-up of the face in this particular instance. These types of shots requires a lot of face acting. And when I say face acting, you must be able to tell a story with your eyes, your mouth, your nose, and even your ears, right? It's your face and your face only is acting. That actor cannot move, right? His face up or his head up and down at that point in time because he'd be out of frame. So he has to now take this shot and whatever his thing is saying there, he has to move his eyes, he has to move his eyebrows, right? He may have to flare his nose, right? But those lines or whatever he has to say in this particular shot, right, has to be contained with just his face. Nothing else, right? He doesn't have the use of his hands. Right now, he could be, sitting down, standing. He could be lying down. You cannot tell. You cannot tell because you have a close-up of just his face. There's nothing else to show in relation to the other parts of his body, right? So all he's acting with at this point in time is his face, all right? Quick tip. When doing close-ups, you can't blink unless it's intentional. Your eyes have to tell the story for the entire scene. So if it is you're doing let's say a very intense emotional part, right? And we're going in for a close-up for your face, right? Then your eyes can't be blinking all the time. You can't blink at all. If you're telling that story, your eyes have to remain open. If you do blink, it must be deliberate. And it must be a part of what the character is going through. He might blink because it's too much emotion, and then he might blink then. He might blink once. But if you have a monologue to do, you have to keep your eyes open. Anytime your eyes just blinking, and you normally blink all the time, what you're doing there is that you're cutting off your communication with the audience. Because that's the, they say the eyes are the windows to the soul. That's the only thing that you're connecting with the audience with. So if you are always blinking, right, it doesn't look real, quote unquote, although everybody blinks. But if you were to see an actor blinking on stage while, on screen while they're doing a close-up, right, it wouldn't look real to you. Because in real life, we don't look at a person directly in their face and count how much blinks they do. But remember, the camera is who is allowing us to see what we are seeing. So because we are not making a conscious decision by ourselves, the camera is the person who's telling us what to watch. If that person keep blinking their eyes, right, we will be disconnected with them. And this is an extreme close-up, and this is an iconic shot, right, of eyes, right? This is Bruce Banner before he turns to the Hulk, right? And these are just his eyes. But look how he's opening up his eyes. Watch as Bill Bixby, who I think was one of the best Bruce Banners ever, right? Watch how he flares his nose and his eyes. But that's all you're seeing. So the camera is now doing an extreme close-up and panning on just, not panning, but closing on just his eyes. That's all. Look at how Edward Norton, the other actor, is opening his eyes for the scene. Now, you got to remember, sometimes these special effects are added afterwards. So they have to now express those eyes alone. That's all they have, their eyes that they're acting with right now. So in television acting, you can isolate parts of your body to act. As opposed to when you're on stage, you will be moving your whole body, right? You don't just move your hand alone or your feet alone. But if you're doing an extreme close-up on television, you will be doing that, okay? So in extreme close-ups, one part of the body is highlighted. Whatever part of the body that is, you're going to have to act with that at the time. Therefore, you can act with just your fingers, your toes, etc., right? And I have the following iconic scene is a perfect blend of a mixture of shots and how actors brilliantly navigate the different shots by the required acting necessary, right? So according to the shot, right, this shot goes from wide to full to extreme close-up, then back to wide. It is one of the most iconic scenes in movies because of the different shots of that one scene. It's the same scene, right? So I want you to see the kind of work that is involved. Sometimes the scene is probably, I think, 4 minutes long, but they would have probably shot that all day or probably over a couple of days, right? Because of the different types of shots that are used, right? That's from that is from the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? When you download the PowerPoint, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. But this here is a close-up, right? Then we have the extreme close-ups, then we have the wides, then we have the mids, all in this one scene. All right. So let's talk about theater versus TV, right? The required acting for television and movie is pretty much the same, right? So when we talk about television and a television actor and a movie actor, it's not that the television actor acts different to the movie actor. There's not a difference in acting, right? Previously in the industry, you had movie actors and television actors, right? So it would have actors that you would see on television. I'll give you a simple example, a perfect example, right? Eric Braeden, who plays Victor Newman, right? He probably did one movie in his time, but you're accustomed seeing him every day if you just watch Young and Restless, right? If you watch Young and Restless from now and you watch it 10 years ago was the last episode, somehow you could still follow, right? But he would have been what you would have considered a TV actor long ago, right? And therefore, TV actors would have had a certain amount of, not that they don't get paid well, right? So like, for instance, the last cast of Friends, they get paid, the last season, they got paid $1 million each per episode, right? Game of Thrones, I know per episode, they get a lot of money as well, right? So it's not that television actors don't get paid well, right? But they used to be seen as what you would consider free, quote unquote, actors, right? Because you're watching them on TV and you don't really go to cinema to see them. So because you're accustomed watching them for free, right? The thinking behind the industry was that you wouldn't want to go and pay to see that actor because in those times, right, movies were sold based on who the actors were. Again, the image of the actor. So you see Denzel Washington on a cover, wherever Denzel Washington showing, I am a Denzel Washington fan. I wouldn't miss no Denzel Washington movies. So Denzel Washington was a movie actor, and therefore he would have a following and he would have a sale. Now that has changed, right? When the audience saw an actor on television, they never regarded them as a star, right? You would never consider a television actor as a star, right? But with things like Netflix and the other streaming sites, right, that has gone out the window because you have a lot of movie actors now in limited series, on television series. Now the whole industry has had to take a different approach on the way that, you know, actors are regarded and just in generally type of work, because now, you know, no longer persons might even, especially during the pandemic, nobody going out to the cinema now. So we have a situation where movie actors are not really being recognized because nobody's going out to the cinemas, right? Who are the actors that are going to be recognized? Those on Netflix. We want to watch a Netflix movie, right? And it might be a Christmas movie. Some unknown actors, some unknown, and then it'll tell you a Netflix movie, right? And it's somebody that you don't really know, but you sit down to watch the movie. Now, personally, it's not my taste, but, you know, to each their own. At the same time, these are people that you're going to be introduced now. And because you may see them in one Netflix movie, you see them in another, and say, hey, I know this actress. And then you get to know their name. Before you used to have a name before you get work. Now you could get work and then create a name. So the industry, because of the disturbance of the industry like Netflix, right, has changed on its head. So now people are looking for more dynamically diverse shows. So you have a lot more African shows coming on Netflix. You have a lot more Indian shows coming on Netflix, right? And the reason for that is that people now are changing their appetite for the images that they want to see, right? Which was a brilliant thing on Netflix, on Netflix behalf, on Netflix part, because they were the first to really give you diversity in what you wanted to see, right? Sadly, we as Caribbean people are yet to really make that move and see ourselves on television the way that we ought to. And as I say, I will keep reinforcing, this is why I'm having this class, so that we will now start to create more and more content that we're able to see ourselves. So I must turn on Netflix and see a show with Bernice and Vanessa and Leo my boy Joshua, and Cheryl, Aziza, all of these people, Ricardo, I must turn on my TV, or well, we ain't really do TV no more, but I must be able to put on my Netflix and see all your acting in something, right? So the thing about it is that, right, the industry has changed, and so we must now move with the industry, right? Okay, sorry. Okay, this slide, I'll take this one up, right? But I want to give you an example of the same actor when he was a television actor and then a movie actor, right? Same actor, Will Smith, right? When he was on Fresh Prince, he was a TV actor because we saw him on, weekly or whatever the case might be on the series. But when he did Men in Black and Independence Day, he moved from being a television actor to being a movie actor. Now you don't see Will Smith on any television series anymore, right? You don't, because he's a movie actor now, right? And I don't think he has transitioned back onto television, because I guess that same mentality must be on his mind. It might be, it might look for him a step back, right? But that's exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's not that there's a difference in a requirement for what you need to do in front of the camera. It's just that the perception of market value is different from a television actor to a movie actor. I hope that clears up for you guys. All right, so the major difference in television and theater acting is that in television, the actor acts, relates, reacts, and converses with an inanimate object. And that object is the camera, right? And therefore, he uses his imagination to allow his or her character to tell a story, right? There's no reaction, no feedback, no response, except of that of the director, whether he liked it, whether he doesn't like it, right? All right, cut, we're going to go with that. We're going to, you know what I mean? But they can also isolate the minor details the camera is highlighting. So for instance, if you were to sit on a stage and just cry, right? But don't say anything at all. You're not moving, your head just still, and you're crying. And somebody comes to see that on a play. You're not making any noise at all, right? That would be one of the most boring scenes of the play. If you were to do that exact same thing, right? And we were doing a close-up of your face, and you were just there crying, and a tear was coming down your eye, right? And in post-production, we put a sad piece of music behind it. That will be the same thing that you've done. That would be one of the most brilliant pieces of acting on the screen. You understand the difference? It's all about the perspective that the audience is seeing it from. So in theater, the actor engages someone, whether it's be other actors or the audience, right? So in theater, right, you would be engaging with the audience, you'd be engaging with your other actors. There's a sense of feedback and responses. So, the theater actors' performances intend to engage a live audience and manipulate their emotions. So it's in the immediate, it's right there. I am supposed to make you feel certain things, right? Now, if what I am doing is not working, right, I can get immediate feedback and probably, you know what, dial it down. So let's say, for instance, I was supposed to do a scene to make you cry, but because of my movements, it make you laugh a bit, right? Then I am not doing my job, but I can't know that if I'm doing that in front of a camera. I can know it if I'm doing it in theater, because I would know the audience's response. and I can make an immediate alteration or adjustment, right? To make you feel what I'm supposed to make you feel. Yeah? So if we look at theater versus television, theater acts and reacts to a live audience, right? Television acts with an inanimate object, right? Which is the camera, right? Theater, you get an instant feedback to know if what you're doing works, right? With television, you wouldn't know if the audience thought you stunk until the movie came out, right? You have to wait until, and from the time you act and do your job, that movie may not come out until a whole year or sometimes 2 or 3 years after you would have done that work, right? The theater actor works with expressions and reactions to make creative decisions. So let's say, as in the illustration I gave before, let's say what the actor was doing is making the audience feel something that he doesn't intend. Then he can gauge by the audience reaction and make a creative decision on how that could happen, right? With television, you're working with your imagination to make creative decisions. You have to imagine what it is, you know, I mean, you want to portray and what that audience member might feel like. You know, there are some persons who might say, you know, I mean, if you're doing a sad scene, you need to have tears. There are some persons who would say, well, no, if you're as a man and you're doing a sad scene and you show that you're about to cry, right? The audience will cry for you. You understand? Some people are moved by different things, right? And again, you won't be able to tell that when you're doing it on television, because again, it's your imagination that you're using to do the acting. All right? So there are 2 scenes here done by Denzel Washington, right? Of the same play. One is done in theater, right? And the other is done for television. Same scene. It's not word for word, but it's the same scene, right? And one is done in movie. I want you to observe, right, the differences. Observe the ways that he would be different. And this is a perfect example for you to see, because it's the same actor in the same play doing the same scene. So it's a very, very good comparison for you to check out, right? So that you'll be able to say, all right, okay, this is the decision that he makes. Now, notice where in this picture here, where their heads are. So Denzel is not really, the camera is here, right? And Denzel is watching in the other actor's one eye, right? This actor is not facing Denzel. If he was facing Denzel, right, we would not be able to see Denzel's face. He's actually watching out by those trees there. Everybody understand what I'm saying? So on the reverse side, right, when we do the over the shoulder on Denzel, we will get his reaction, right? But his reaction really would not be watching Denzel. He has to imagine what he's feeling at this point. Good? So I will leave you all for when you get it for homework, all right? I will send the video and the PowerPoint because we're getting some issues with the classroom right now. And until we work out that, I know, right? But I'm going to make sure that you all don't miss this class, okay? All right, so the assignment, right? Everybody choose a number 1 to 6. This represents a character to say the following monologue. Take your camera, do a full shot. A full shot is where we can see your head to toe. Do a medium shot where we will see half of you, and do a close-up of your face, right? Of your character. So you chose a character 1 to 6. If you chose 1, you chose to do a heroin addict. If you chose 2, you chose to do a psycho killer. If you chose 3, you're a suicide attempter. If you chose 4, you're a domestic violence victim. If you chose 5, you're a rape survivor. If you chose 6, you're a prostitute, right? Have fun, right? This is the monologue that you're going to be saying, right? I'm going to be sending it out, right? I'm not going to read it because I don't want you to get an idea of where it is from, because I don't want to see a repeat of that performance, right? At this point in time, I will open up the floor now for any questions. Any questions?
Yes, Stephen, you could just repeat the different shots. I only got medium.
Say that again.
You could repeat the different shots we have to do.
All right, you're going to be doing a full shot, right? Which is from head to toe, a mid shot, which is half of you, and a close up, which is just your face. Yeah?
Okay, yeah,
So
thank
you're
you.
going to be doing the monologue 3 times, and you're going to be acting for the different shots. Good? So you may have to get some help with somebody to hold the camera for you, right? Or just see, you know what I mean, see where it is, wherever you zoom, but make sure for the close-up you're getting just this, right? Right now, what kind of shot do you have on me right now? Can I get, let me see somebody who I don't call on plenty. Nigel, what kind of shot are you seeing here of me?
This, well, it's not, it'll probably be medium, I would say.
Medium? Where are you seeing on my shoot?
From like your chest come up.
So if you're seeing from my chest come up, where's that?
That is, what's the one between medium and close up?
Medium close.
There you go, that's all.
Right? So it's medium, right? So right now, you're seeing a medium close shot of me, right? If you were seeing half of me, that would have been a medium shot. If I come up here and you just see my face, right? This is like a close-up. You understand? So depending on the type of shot, right, will depend on the type of acting that is required. Yeah? Anybody have any questions? Yazid, what was that? Okay. No questions, none whatsoever. So I did a bang up job. Everybody understand everything? All right, you have no questions. Okay. Any comments? Anything troubling you about the last homework? Anything? I know the last bit of homework was plenty. Yes, Beverly?
The stuff that you gave us to speak, right? We have to put expressions into all of them because some of them kind of documentary-like.
Good. So when you're doing narrations, right, it all depends on what you need to do, right? So when you're doing narrations, if you're giving information, that is what you're doing. But you can't give the information in a boring way, right? So you still have to tell a story. So as a narrator there, you would be what you call a storyteller, right? You still have to tell a story. So like the Kilimanjaro, right? There's one where I gave you all with Kilimanjaro, I think with some elephants or something like that, right? That one, you're telling that story as though you're witnessing, you know, the elephant, because they would now play that against a video. So you're not saying, it would not be emotions per se, right? You would not get emotional about it, but you'd get very expressive, yeah? All right, anything else? Going in, all right. So good. I hope you guys understood what we did for today. I hope you guys understand what we're doing, what is required. If you have any questions, you can send it to me in the chat. I would also send, hopefully, I'll stay up a little late tonight and send you the 1 to 6, right? Shanique, is Mia given right there? Right? Yeah, send you the 1 to 6. Cheryl.
See Joshua's post to you.
The shot that I am in, Joshua? Are you asking about the shot? If it's the shot that I am?
No, he's asking if you could post the class session in the group chat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he says the website is giving trouble.
Yeah. I'll put it up on YouTube and I'll post it on the web chat, on the WhatsApp group, right? Okay, guys, so thank you. I hope, I know some of you all couldn't make it out today, and I want to say first and foremost, thank you so much for allowing me the little rest yesterday. It was greatly appreciated. You know, I don't like to not have class. You know, I made a commitment to you guys, and yesterday I just couldn't answer the bell, and I don't like coming out to class and not giving you all 100. You know, and you know, so my voice is a lot more powerful today. I think that, you know, I mean, the tips that I've given you now to start doing more television and movie acting, you're really going to see a much greater improvement, right, in what you do. And you see the same thing, that the same monologue that we did the very first time. It have one for the boys and one for the girls, right? You're now going to do that on camera. Right? You're going to give me a mid shot on it, because then I don't want to give you every week. For this week, I want you to give me a mid shot on it. Every week we'll do a different type of shot on it, right? But I want you to now see the difference and how you're acting on camera for that same scene that you acted on stage. That's really important, right? Because I think stage acting gives you the fundamentals for emotion and expressions, right? But camera now is just really how you move. Now, I can't get up from here now. If I get up from there, I'm going to be out of frame. You understand? I can't stand up. So if we're doing a shot, right, where I have to stay here, I am only limited to here. If I have to raise my hands, I can't put my hands out here. You can't see my hands. I have to keep my hands in front of me like this, right? So those are the things that you will be practicing with, you know, how to limit or expand your movement based upon the shot. So guys, I want to say thank you so much for attending class today. I'm going to just lead us off in a little word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this evening. We thank you, Lord God, for the commitment of everyone here. I pray, Lord God, that you'll continue to cover, guide, and keep them, Lord God, that you'll be able to provide for them, that you'll be able, Lord God, to just let them know, Lord God, that you have created each and every one of us in your image and in your likeness, Lord God. And let us be able to see ourselves as such. Let us see ourselves as the lions and lionesses that we are, Father. And Lord God, stop living this life as though we are a pussycat. Through Jesus Christ, I pray. Amen. God bless you guys. Take care. Have a great evening. And for those of you all in the States, happy Thanksgiving.
Lord bless you and thank you too.
Okay, bye.